Have you ever felt like you've lost everything you worked for? Imagine building an empire from your garage, only to be kicked out of it. That's exactly what happened to Steve Jobs in 1985. The man who co-founded Apple, the visionary behind the Macintosh, was publicly and humiliatingly fired from his own company. It was a brutal, public failure. The board and the CEO he had personally hired, John Sculley, turned against him. At just 30 years old, the golden boy of Silicon Valley was an outcast. He later said he felt like he'd let everyone down, that the baton had been dropped. For many, this would have been the end of the story. But for Steve Jobs, this devastating setback was, in his own words, the best thing that could have ever happened to him. So, what do you do when the world sees you as a failure? You start again. Freed from the immense pressure of running Apple, Jobs entered what he called his most creative period. He didn't just sit around. He founded a new company next. The goal was ambitious, to build the most advanced computers for higher education and business. The next computer, a sleek black cube, was a technological marvel. It was too expensive and ahead of its time to be a commercial hit. But its software, next step, was revolutionary. It laid the groundwork for so much of what we use today. This period wasn't about immediate financial success. It was about refining his vision, pushing the boundaries of technology, without the constraints of a massive corporation watching his every move. He was back to being a beginner, and he loved it. But that's not all he did in his wilderness years. In 1986, Jobs bought a small computer graphics division from George Lucas for $5 million. He saw potential where others saw a niche hobby. He invested another $5 million of his own money to keep it afloat. That little division was named Pixar. Sound familiar? Under Jobs' leadership and financial backing, Pixar's team of brilliant animators and tech wizards aimed to do something no one had ever done before. Create the world's first feature-length computer-animated film. It was a massive gamble. The technology was unproven. The costs were enormous. And for years, Pixar hemorrhaged money. Jobs was tempted to sell it multiple times. But he believed in the team and their vision. That belief paid off in 1995 with the release of Toy Story. The film was a global phenomenon, changing animation forever and turning Pixar into a household name. This venture proved that Jobs' genius wasn't just in hardware. It was in recognizing and nurturing creativity, wherever he found it. Meanwhile, back at Apple, things were going from bad to worse. Without Jobs' vision, the company had lost its way. It was churning out a confusing array of beige boxes. Its market share was plummeting, and it was teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. The company that had once defined personal computing was now a cautionary tale, just months away from financial collapse. They tried everything: new products, new CEOs, but nothing worked. The magic was gone. By 1996, Apple was in a desperate situation. They needed a new operating system to save them, and they needed it fast. In a move that still seems like something out of a Hollywood movie, they decided to buy a company to get its software. And which company did they choose? None other than Next, Steve Jobs' company. The deal was finalized in late 1996. Apple bought Next for $429 million, and as part of the deal, Steve Jobs returned to the company he had co-founded, initially as an informal advisor. The king had returned to his kingdom, but the kingdom was in ruins. He found a company with a bloated product line, no clear direction, and a culture of defeat. Employees were demoralized. The press was writing Apple's obituary, but Jobs wasn't there to be an advisor. He was there to take back control. Within months, he maneuvered his way to becoming the interim CEO, a title he playfully shortened to CEO. He immediately went to work, making ruthless but necessary decisions. He slashed the product line by 70%, killing off projects he deemed unworthy, including the popular but unprofitable Newton. He famously stood in front of a whiteboard and simplified Apple's entire strategy, down to just for great products. His return was electrifying. He brought back a focus on design, simplicity, and innovation. At the 1997 Macworld Expo, in a now iconic moment, he announced a partnership with Apple's arch-rival, Microsoft. The crowd booed, but Jobs explained that the era of competition was over. It was time to focus on survival and innovation. It was a masterstroke that stabilized the company. He then launched the legendary Think Different advertising campaign. It didn't feature any products. Instead, it showed black and white images of icons like Albert Einstein, Martin Luther King Jr., and Muhammad Ali. The message was clear. Apple was back, and it was for the rebels, the misfits, the creative geniuses who want to change the world. It re-energized the brand and reminded everyone what Apple stood for. Then came the products. In 1998, he unveiled the iMac. It was unlike any computer anyone had ever seen. It was a colorful, all-in-one machine that was beautiful, simple to use, and designed for the internet. The I in IMAC stood for Internet, Individual, Instruct, Inform, and Inspire. It was a massive hit, and it saved Apple. The iMac was just the beginning of one of the greatest corporate turnarounds in history. What followed was a string of revolutionary products that would redefine entire industries. The iPod, which put 1,000 songs in your pocket. iTunes, which changed how we buy and listen to music. The iPhone in 2007, which wasn't just a new phone, but a new way of living. And the iPad in 2010, which created an entirely new category of device. Each product was a testament to his obsession with perfection, his intuitive understanding of what customers wanted before they even knew it themselves, and his unwavering belief in the power of combining technology with the liberal arts. From being fired and publicly humiliated to returning, and leading Apple to become the most valuable company in the world. Steve Jobs' story is the ultimate comeback tale. It's a powerful lesson that failure is often a stepping stone, not a final destination. His time in exile, founding Next and Pixar, wasn't a detour. It was a necessary part of his journey. It made him a better leader, a more patient visionary, and it gave him the tools and experience he needed for his spectacular second act at Apple. His legacy isn't just in the sleek devices we use every day. It's in his relentless pursuit of excellence and his proof that sometimes getting fired can be the best thing that ever happens to you. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the people and ideas that shape our world. See you in the next video.